his opening statement.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much, and thanks to the witnesses for joining us today. A majority of Americans feel like they're getting priced out of Donald Trump's new Gilded Age in America. A third of Americans, around 82 million people, are skipping meals or basic health care in order to pay for utilities. Prices for food staples like egg, sugar, and meat jumped up in 2025 and are climbing every day. Whether you rent or own, housing is becoming more unaffordable for the working middle class, while Donald Trump bulldozes the White House and throws great Gatsby parties at Mar-a-Lago for his billionaire cabinet and the fellow stars of the Epstein files. Forget owning a house when 3/4 of Americans say that buying a new car is out of reach. If you've got a car, driving it is becoming ludicrously expensive as gas prices have shot up 25%. Just in the last few weeks with Trump's war of choice in the Middle East. Gas prices are soaring every day as the theocrats of Iran retaliate by shutting down the shipment of oil through the Strait of Hormuz, and Donald Trump spends $2 billion a day on this war that we never declared and didn't even debate, putting it on America's imaginary credit card and driving up our deficit and our national debt. President Trump's impulsively stupid policies and the invertebrate response of Republicans in Congress have made life even more expensive and difficult for our people. Republicans refused to address the healthcare crisis and instead chose to cut Medicaid and the tax credits that help make healthcare affordable and accessible to millions of people. Meantime, monopolies and corporate giants rule in Trump's economy. MAGA-controlled agencies have waved through giant mergers in the real estate market, which means that you pay more for a home and have fewer options for buying one. They also settled slam dunk rent price fixing cases where major landlords across America conspired to set the rent that you pay for your home, ensuring that they will get richer while you spend more on rental housing. Just last week, the DOJ okayed an obviously corrupt settlement of the Live Nation Ticketmaster suit, which may appease MAGA's big business campaign funders, but will do nothing to lower the exorbitant prices that people pay to see live entertainment. The government originally accused Live Nation Ticketmaster, a multi-billion-dollar live event business, of stifling competition, coercing artists and venues into using its services, and driving up ticket prices for millions of fans while pocketing bloated profits. But under the Trump administration, this years-long case has been quietly settled with no changes for the millions of American consumers, artists, venues, and competitors that this business injured and overcharged. President Trump promised that foreign countries, not Americans, would pay for his giant and illegal tariffs, and he promised that those tariffs would create jobs. Both promises turned out to be empty. President Trump's tariffs, which he applied unilaterally, haphazardly, and unevenly, and of course unconstitutionally, failed to create new jobs and instead effectively taxed every American more than $2,500. A study by the Fed shows that 90% of these costs were paid by American companies and American consumers, not by China or any other foreign country. The resulting brutal affordability squeeze has landed most heavily on people who also lost critical social services like SNAP food stamp benefits, children's health insurance, Medicaid, and Medicare, and funding for rural hospitals when House Republicans passed their one big, ugly class warfare bill. Our government actually has the agency tools needed to address the Trump affordability crisis, but Trump has either totally dismantled them or corrupted them. He's broken the agencies that protect us against frauds, scams, and financial conspiracies. He's fired any antitrust official who's disagreed with his policy of giving political allies a green light to swallow up their competitors. Last month, he abruptly dismissed Assistant Attorney General Gail Slater, who was often the only dissenting voice as lobbyists in back rooms and White House insiders pushed mergers that are terrible for consumers and driving us towards an economy run by oligarchs. The majority has conducted zero oversight of these antitrust corruption debacles, leaving it to the Democrats to invite as a witness Gail Slater's deputy, Roger Alford, who was fired for raising concerns about rank pay-to-play corruption and self-dealing in the GOP-controlled antitrust agencies. Alford implored us in this room to conduct oversight of the antitrust division before it's too late for America. A two-term Trump official thus begged us to do our jobs to protect the American people, but it has fallen on deaf ears among our colleagues. President Trump's policies and Republican inaction mean that today Americans cannot afford daily life, but Trump and the billionaire class are getting richer every day. Just 4 tech billionaires, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and Jensen Huang, all of whom donated to Trump's inauguration, they made $288 billion in less than 1 year. By contrast, the American people paid $2,500 on average last year for higher prices, thanks just to the tariffs alone. The president has said that the affordability crisis is, quote, a hoax, a con job, a scam, but his illegal tariffs were the hoax. His claim to support release of the Epstein files is the con job, and his illegal unilateral war in Iran, which is costing us more than $1 billion a day and 13 American lives already and more than 1,000 Iranian lives, including children, is the scam. The real fraud is President Trump's personal net worth going up $1.4 billion in his first year of his second term, and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, raking in $2 billion from the Saudis and more than $1.5 billion from Qatar, while exercising a lot more decision over the decision to go to war than any of the members in this room did combined. And so what are we here today to discuss? An esoteric antitrust exemption about shipping. Now, in normal times, I might appreciate an examination of this or any other antitrust exemption. But these aren't normal times, and this majority isn't even prepared to reform the exemption in any event, something I would certainly be open to discussing. But millions of Americans literally cannot afford now to get medicine or pay for housing or for groceries in Trump's economy. We must do everything we can to try to help the people now with the tools that are actually at our disposal. Instead, our Republican colleagues have called us here to discuss a niche antitrust exemption unlikely to change anytime soon. The ship of state is taking on water rapidly every day and starting to sink, but our colleagues want to have a debate about diversionary things. Count me out. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I yield back.